server. Let's take a look at some of the experimental things in the Newbound software library. We're working on a scripting language where basically you can create objects and put them into packages. Packages are just a convenient way to nest groups of objects. Let's go ahead and create a new object. We'll call this a person name. And we'll specify some data for our person name, including a string called first name. Give it a default value of Joe. Create a last name. Last name of user. And let's come up with is age an appropriate thing to put on a person name? Probably not, but there you go. Got some default values. You get the idea. That's specifying some data for our object. We can also specify how that's displayed in our 3D view of this object. We're going to make the first name visible. Show the label yes. Let's move this to location X, about halfway on the negative scale of the x-axis. We'll pick another attribute, last name, make it visible, and we'll position it halfway in the positive on the, oh, that's the y-axis. Did I screw that up? First name, position. I sure did, didn't I? Holy bejeebus. Well, let's do it vertically then. All right, nobody cares. Negative. All right, boys and girls. So now we've got our object. It's got a first name and a last name stacked on top of each other. And that's how it's represented when you see it in 3D. We can also attach behaviors to it, and these are traditionally known as methods in a class object, if you will. You can have different types of scope, create a public, you can have constructors and statics, constructors. Let's go ahead and create a command. We'll call it do stuff. And okay, here we have our public do stuff command. It creates inputs, and we can create outputs. We can create functions that we can call. For example, call a command in another class. Constructor, static method, getters, setters. We'll just create a local inside of it. Maybe do some stuff like that. Anyway, so you get the idea. You can have nested commands, and you can attach your inputs to your outputs, and basically you can create a data flow diagram that represents the flow of data through your application and actually is your application. It's then executable. This would be the equivalent of a Newbound scripting language for our environment.